My man.
It's cr-
Back again. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Doing real good. Been a hectic couple weeks, but things are looking good. How about you?
Another rainy day. Another rainy day in Texas, huh?
Yeah. Another rainy day. I don't know, man. It's climate change has to be real at this point, or maybe I'm tripping. I've lived here a long time, and yeah, this is annoying. Very annoying. So, uh, no biggie though. No biggie.
There you go. Yeah, but yeah, my day's been all right, man. I'm definitely having a better week than last. One of our close friends that we work with called it out, and it made me smile. Just they were able to notice how much better I'm doing this week. So it's just a good feeling knowing that I'm on a more positive note. So, but yeah, let's jump right into it, man. Speaking of Texas, this is gonna be a kind of Texas focused episode here. So, space. Elon Musk announced that he's moving the headquarters of X and SpaceX to Texas. So this will follow his move that he moved Tesla to Texas in 2021 from Palo Alto. So, I wanted to kind of pick your brain on this. Obviously, being a resident of Houston, Texas for a long time now, and I know you've lived in Austin and many other places, but in Austin in the past. Just like, what are your thoughts on this move, right? Economically, politically, I think this has been a trend for the past few years. We've seen Austin, Texas become this tech city and it's blowing up and it continues to do so. So, obviously a lot of discussions here, a lot of opportunities for jobs, but what is that, you know, what is it going to make the city become? So like, Austin when you used to live there versus Austin what it is now, what are your thoughts on that?
Austin is it's a great city. I put Austin, New Orleans, DC, Portland, Denver kind of in the same category. They're major cities, but they have this charm to it. When I moved there in like the 2000s, it was uh, it was kind of amazing. I would say it was like one of my favorite cities. Over time, it just like prior I knew about gentrification. I didn't really understand it prior to that, but to see it happen and the levels of it, they usually say they move poor black and brown people out of neighborhoods and they build these things for mostly yuppies or whatever to move in. But for me, I saw those yuppies also be displaced, those hipsters also be displaced. I remember in Austin renting an apartment for $7.95 uh, downtown, $7.95 with a organic co-op uh, vegetable organic store next door. I watched that get rolled over, right? I watched the taco trucks just disappear. It's a great place for technology, I would say. Um, they have people listen to this, they might not know this, but they have their own Silicon Hills instead of Silicon Valley. Austin is like super hilly, got lakes. Like the hills are, for me anyway, are basically mountains. It's to at that time I was doing a lot of biking. I did a lot of deliveries, and it was definitely hard, especially on a fixie going up and down those hills. It was some work. I know you know about that. So yeah, it was a great time in Silicon Hills. It's a very interesting place. You have you know. At the time, Whole Foods corporate office was there, Indeed was there, Big Commerce was there, um, Samsung was there, and then I remember when Tesla came in, Samsung's semiconductors. A lot of semiconductors are made there. Apple has an office there that's huge. I did a couple interviews there. Didn't get it, but I did a couple of interviews there. It was amazing amazing facility, and just to watch like everyone be from California you meet, like you everyone's from California or the Midwest, from Ohio, Kansas, basically people going to college, getting that degree, that computer science degree, that design degree, that business degree, and moving to Austin. So when I moved, it was basically LA or San Francisco, like homeless people all up and down the street. Like before, I remember you could see Matthew McConaughey at a Torchy's Tacos and just it didn't matter. Like,
Right.
but now it's just another great city. Bit the dust. I need to go back out there. I went for like a day, like a couple weeks ago, to take care of some business. But it's a great city. You're in a better city, I would say, right now compared to Austin. So the move. I don't know. I don't know what politically. I guess like Republicans are just easier for businesses. Um, I nah, but for the city, I don't really know. I don't really know what's the benefit.
Yeah, man. I mean, so I've been to Austin one time last year. Shout out my guy Badreen, him and his lady out there, and I went just for a quick trip for his birthday. And I gotta say, man, I really enjoyed my time out there. We played some golf. We went through the whole kayaking thing on the river. I like that it's like an active city and people were out running, biking, all that. Um, still a lot of vehicles and a lot of infrastructure there, which I think like that was like something I was running away from moving, back to Chicago from Houston. But we're seeing this move, these elites in on the West Coast that are moving to Texas, right? You get more bang for your buck, right? Everything's bigger in Texas. You get more property for less cash. You get no state income tax. So just becoming more of a popular move for people. And we're seeing these like big tech companies moving there now. But a couple years ago, Rogan and all the whole comedy scene broke out talking about that it all moved to Austin with the mothership, and they got a whole crew out there, doing their own thing. So I like the switch up from moving away from the West Coast, as to say like they're making their own thing. But it's only a matter of time before Austin, Texas is just like you said, bit the dust. It's just gonna become just swept up by everything that the West Coast had. The political piece. I don't know how much we want to get into that on this episode, but they recently, like last week, they passed this law, something about the schools requiring staff to notify parents if a child identifies as transgender. So there's a whole like reasoning behind a lot of these people that they don't want to put their kids into these schools that that this law was passed. So like it's a whole reasoning for their move. And I can understand where they may come from. But also moving to Texas, you get swept up in a more of a Republican viewpoint. You just like way of life, like the whole Southern living Republican way of life. So I'm curious as to see those that move from the West Coast or fucking up Seattle, whatever. Maybe they move all the way down and they start, you know. I'm curious. They may take a role down in Houston or Austin, Texas, and I'm curious to see how that may change, morally or just their way of life. And that's just interesting to see, what a career move can do for you. I mean, you're talking to me. I moved from Chicago to Houston, Texas, met you, and here we are. So I'll always appreciate that for what it is. And we'll just have to see what a few years down the line, if Austin, Texas retains its southern roots, or if it's just become this tech, I don't know, utopia type shit that, I don't know, just straight from Silicon Valley. So I was just curious what your thoughts on with that. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what that turns into. But
And just to clarify, it's not a liberal city. It's a very Republican city. It just has nice weather. It's hilly. It's like, if you, of course, you've been to Houston, it's very humid, it gets very hot. It's just, it's just good weather in Austin. Dallas is very oil and gas, is very high acidity in some areas, and Austin was just half the city is U of A, UT, UT Austin. So that because of that, it seems like it's liberal, the music, Willie Nelson, but they're super like they're Louisiana, like their Mississippi is not like it's just different. It's just good weather and uh, it's just a Republican San Francisco. That's all it is, really. It's no real changes at all. But it's fun. The weather's fun. The bars are fun. The women are fun. But politically, there's no change. It's all the same.
Well, yeah, I think you're right there. I think you know that the whole political thing it's wishy washy, and I think like the South will always be the South, and there's really no wavering there. I think we're at this kind of standpoint now, just as a country, like everything is just all over the place. Not to get in too much detail, but as of like was it yesterday, the day before, Biden dropped out the race. Put forth Kamala. Last week Trump was attempted assassination. So uh, there's just a lot going on. So just to kind of label someone's political stance off where they live is you can't do that, but yeah, shout out those in Texas, not to harp on this too much, but I will always appreciate my time in Houston. I'm so glad that I moved there for a job, and it's kind of bittersweet now, as our job, uh, that they're closing the Houston office, and after a few years, we saw a couple different offices there, and it's just sad to see. I guess just as part of it, we kind of grew to this remote company, and it's just it sucks, that I'm just remembering all the experiences being in office in Houston with you and with our crew, and now that's just gone. So yeah, um, yeah, that is, it's wild, man.
Yeah, it's wild how the game changes, how things changes due to this new version of the industrial technology era that we're in. Going to me living in Austin, and there was kind of not a lot going on till the point where I'm looking at this stadium outside of my apartment at one point, the soccer stadium that they built. So, and yeah, same thing here in Houston. Um, State Representative Sheila Jackson just died. She was been around forever. It feels like, yeah, homie got shot at. This is a sick, sad world we live in. Shout out to Daria. Sick, sad world we live in. And as the world turns, technology continues to make changes, and it's great. I wonder what Peter Thiel is doing right now. But during all of this, but that's for those are for the people in the know. They can research that. But yeah, man, it's great.
Yeah, man. Well, to close out today's episode, we're gonna make this a quick one. We're gonna start doing this every episode. So we're gonna cue the title card. So this segment is a recommendation. So Melton and I will bring to the table at least one recommendation every week. This can span across a variation of mediums. It can be a book he's into right now, a movie he watched last night. It could be a recipe that he tried last week. It could be an activity, anything that he recommends. So I'll kick it off here. So my recommendation, I briefly touched on this in a past episode, I believe, when we were talking about Notion and kind of diving into that program itself. But uh, my recommendation this week will be habit tracking. So I didn't understand. I still don't have the full grasp on it yet, how it's impacted my life. But last night I I scrolled through all of my dates. So I started this on February 5th of this year on Notion. I'm tracking if I, what was my movement like every day. So if I walked, bike, ran, I'm tracking how many push-ups I did. I'm tracking if uh, I have three tiers. I do focus, work, or no, sorry, focus, learn, and read. So learn would be if I did, as of now, it'd be like Duolingo or uh, Miro, learning Python, and then read obviously articles or books. So since February 5th, I'm able to see what marks I've hit, and it's just like extremely humbling and just eye opening to look back on like my progress. And like I had like windows of time where I would just boom 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 boom, and then the next few days just like miss the mark every time. And so you can see how these like habits fluctuate and like your consistency with them. And I think if you're able to like the transparency there, if you're able to see that, oh damn, like I've done 20 push-ups for the last 5 days, like why can't I push out 50? It's allowed me to have this like window and the clarity on like my output as a man, as a person, right? And I just implore people to pick up this habit of habit tracking, just just for the sake of documenting your progress. And I mean, this can be, I'll just kind of name off some other shit, right? Like you can track, if you've read today, you can track your calories, you can track what you've ate, you can track, did you go to sleep at a decent time? There's other habits that people will care about more than I do. And I think that just like having that documentation is so crucial to revealing like what your growth looks like. And I do think that one day I'm going to reach a point where I'm just going to stop documenting altogether, and I'm at that point it's going to be a realization where like I don't need to document it so more because I'm so good at it. Like I'm so consistent. I'm so good at showing up, right now. Like that's something I'm trying to better myself at, is like showing up every day in every sector of my life. I want to show up focused behind the keys every day. I want to get a run or a bike in every day. I want to do this and that. So being able to, I'm calling balls and strikes on my own life. So I know, and I don't bullshit it either. Like, when I first started it, I kind of wanted to lie. I kind of wanted to check the box, even though I didn't read that day. And then I was like, well, what if if I'm gonna keep checking it? What's the point of actually tracking it? So I didn't do that. There's days, you can scroll my shit and you'll see it. I didn't read for 5 days straight, 6 days straight. It's part of it. It's just part of seeing that growth. So I know that was kind of long winded, but this week my recommendation is for to those listening, just start tracking shit you do. Habits you care about, stuff you want to improve on. Start tracking it. My recommendation would be Notion. There's other options out there, but yeah, start tracking your habits.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mess with that. Yeah, that's something that I need to work on. I've been doing that a lot in my with this iOS 18 update, and I'm testing whatever the Mac version is, but with the reminders and the calendar app, just putting things that I have to check off every day, breaking it down from morning, midday, afternoon, and night. So yeah, that's definitely important. What I'm gonna get into as my recommendation. This is kind of on the fly, but it's something I've been trying to explore in my community work, is stress reduction therapy, and how just looking at nature and how that can help our mental health, and how 50% of people in the United States are suffering from some type of mental something. It might not be that they're schizophrenic, but they're mentally going through something. We have a high mental health and substance abuse here in the United States. And one way we can fix that is just by seeing more nature, just being more connected to nature. And as designers, well, maybe not us as in the digital realm, maybe in the digital realm, I need to do more research to see how that works. But in our homes, environments, offices, whatever, how we can implement nature to relieve stress. Like I'm pretty sure we both been to offices that have maybe like a fake waterfall, or you in the lobby, it has all these plants, you have this soothing music. Some of the industry that we focus in, you may go to a location and they have this soothing music and stuff like that. So I think as a stress reduction, and I think as things that we previously was discussing in the political realm, adding more plants, more nature into our homes is important. The last time this guy, certain guy, was president, we were basically stuck in the house for what, 3.5 years, right? Just in case something else happened. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm leaning into the Microsoft Cloud thing that just happened the other day. You know, internet's down. All the hurricanes I've went through and storms I went through in the past just few weeks. I'm just stuck in the house, and while I have a lot of plants behind me, uh, I needed some more for the level of stress I was going through. So, hang that lavender in your bathroom, have those peace lilies, maybe even do, hell, take some green onions, put it on in your kitchen, let in a little mason jar, anything to add more foliage to your life. I think would be great for all of us in upcoming times. So, yeah, more light. Just having more light, more water, cleaner air. It just brings peace and tranquility uh, to your mind. And yeah, yeah, I think that is something we should all focus on: stress reduction. Yeah.
Nice stress reduction. I love that, man. Yeah, I need to, you know, just hearing your recommendation of stress reduction makes me realize how I don't step outside my body enough to realize how stressed I am. And I know that's kind of obvious, but like I love just your take on it. How it's just like a universal thing that there's nobody on this planet that just like not stressed, right? Like, yeah, there's levels to it, and people got to a position in life where I'm sure they're less stressed than others. But I think that with so much wavering consumption and all this shit that's being thrown at you in the media and technology overall, it's easy to become stressed and really just fall to depression. And, you know, I'm glad you called it out because it needs to be addressed more. I think it just gets swept under the rug as like part of the game. And yeah, it is to some extent. That's just life. But again, you got to fight back. You got to put in the work to reduce that stress. And so that's something I'm definitely enjoying about summertime shy right now. The trees got the leaves on them, right? I'm seeing more green. Getting out a lot, sunshine. So definitely going to absorb all that before, they drop off for the winter again. But yeah, stress reduction, that's huge. And I think it's only beneficial to other parts of your life, love, your career, passions, activities, your mental clarity. So cool. Well, those are some two big hitters for our first round of recommendations. Again, we'll come through every week with something to recommend to everyone listening. So, yeah, we appreciate everyone for tuning in. This has been a great one. Another episode in the books, episode 14. It's crazy we're closing in on 20, man. This has been a ride. So, yeah, We appreciate everyone for listening. Melton, what you got for the people?
Just get low. Just got to do it. Get low and get to the money because they about to take us on a ride. So get all your stuff in order. Get your plants. Get your harm reduction. Get your stress reduction, and lock in because it's about to get good. Like Mark Twain says, history doesn't repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes. So let's get to it, brick by brick. You're gonna have to, literally.
There we go.
All right,
We got to end it there. That was good.
it's a fact.
All right. Let's go.
Peace.
Appreciate y'all.